Don't wait any longer. Let's turn your orchid into a blooming masterpiece, starting today. Hi, orchid lovers. Today, I'll show you exactly what to do when you bring a new orchid home, step by step. From cleaning the plant, checking the roots, to giving it the nutrients it needs to thrive and bloom beautifully all year round. Let's get started. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a care tip. When I first bought this orchid for just $3 at the market, it looked quite modest and a bit underwhelming. The leaves were green but slightly dull, lacking that vibrant, glossy shine of a healthy plant. Some of the leaves were slightly bent and didn't seem very strong. There were no flowers left, only a dried flower spike sticking out from the center. The roots visible above the potting mix weren't in terrible shape, but they didn't look particularly plump or healthy either. Let's cut open the plastic pot on the outside to check how the orchid's root system is doing inside. This will help us see if the roots are healthy, whether they've developed properly, or if there are any signs of rot or overcrowding that might need our attention. As we take a closer look at the root system here, we can see that the orchid has developed a dense network of healthy, well-formed roots wrapping tightly around the growing medium. Most of the roots are thick, firm, and have a silvery green appearance, a sign that they are alive and actively functioning. However, despite the overall healthy appearance, we can still spot some roots that are not in great shape. There are a few that have turned brown or darkened, and some feel soft or mushy to the touch, clear signs of root rot. These roots are no longer functioning and can actually harm the plant by holding on to. Since most of the roots are still healthy and strong, we'll focus on removing just the old green moss that might be holding excess moisture or debris. It's important not to disturb the healthy roots too much. While we do this, we'll also carefully inspect the roots deeper, inside the pot, to check for any signs of rot or damage that might not be visible on the surface. This step helps us make sure the plant stays healthy and prevents any potential problems from spreading unnoticed. Taking the time to do this thorough check will give the orchid the best chance to grow strong and bloom big. We remove the green and black moss because they can retain too much moisture, which creates a damp environment around the roots. This excessive moisture can lead to root rot or fungal growth, harming the plant's health. The black moss often indicates old, decayed material that no longer supports the roots and may harbor bacteria or pests. By removing these mosses, we improve air circulation around the roots and reduce the risk of disease, helping the orchid stay healthy and encouraging stronger root growth. Now it's time to trim off any rotten roots or yellowing, damaged leaves. If we leave these parts on the plant, they'll just sit there and take up valuable nutrients, which could be better used to grow strong new roots and leaves. So I'll carefully snip away all the mushy, shriveled roots. Those are no longer doing anything good for the plant. By removing them, we're allowing the orchid to concentrate its energy where it matters most, producing fresh, healthy roots. These new roots are going to be much more efficient at absorbing water and nutrients, giving the plant a real boost as it settles into its new growing medium. The same goes for the old, yellowed leaves. They might look harmless, but they can harbor pests and disease. Trimming them away gives the plant a fresh start and improves airflow around the base, which is so important for orchids. This step might seem small, but it's absolutely essential if we want a quick and healthy recovery after repotting. Think of this like giving the plant a reset, a little pruning spa day. We're removing the old, the weak, the infected parts, and leaving behind a healthy core that can focus entirely on recovery and growth. Once these fresh new roots begin to emerge, they'll be more efficient at soaking up nutrients and moisture, helping your orchid bounce back quickly and even start preparing for its next blooming cycle. I've created subtitles in multiple languages so you can follow along more easily. Just turn them on and choose the language you're most comfortable with. And I'd love to know where you're watching from. Leave me a comment below and tell me which country you're tuning in from. It's truly amazing that we can connect through our shared love for orchids from every corner of the world. Next, I'll rinse the entire plant under running water. After we've finished trimming away the damaged roots, it's important to wash off any leftover dirt or debris stuck to the roots and base. This step really helps give the plant a fresh start. Let's use a soft, clean cloth to gently pat the plant dry. This step is really important. After rinsing and trimming, the plant is more sensitive, especially around the root zone and leaf joints. By carefully drying it, we reduce the risk of excess moisture lingering on the surface, which could otherwise lead to rot or fungal issues. Be gentle, especially with the new roots and leaf bases. Prepare some charcoal, preferably horticultural charcoal or activated charcoal if you have it. Charcoal is incredibly beneficial when repotting orchids. Crush the charcoal into small, even pieces, about the size of a pea or smaller. This step is important because smaller chunks mix more evenly with your growing medium and allow for better distribution throughout the pot. By breaking the charcoal down, you increase its surface area, which means it can absorb more impurities and improve airflow around the orchid roots. It also helps prevent root rot by keeping the medium from becoming too compact or soggy. Make sure the charcoal pieces are dry and clean before using. You can gently tap them with a hammer or crush them by hand if the charcoal is soft enough. Once crushed, set them aside. We'll use them when it's time to repot. We'll use 1 tablespoon of finely crushed charcoal. Pour 500 milliliters of water. Stir the solution. Soak it for 20 minutes. Use 200 grams of watermelon, including both the juicy red flesh and a bit of the white rind if you'd like. Watermelon is not only refreshing for us, it's also packed with natural sugars, vitamins like A, B6, and C, and trace minerals that plants love. Cut the watermelon into small pieces so it's easier to blend and helps release all the juice and nutrients evenly. Smaller chunks also allow for a quicker breakdown, ensuring that when you blend it, the mixture becomes smooth and consistent, perfect for mixing into natural plant care solutions. This step might seem simple, but it makes a big difference in how effectively the plant can absorb the benefits later on. Put the chopped watermelon into the blender, making sure not to overload it. Watermelon has a high water content, so it will blend quickly into a smooth, juicy mixture. Pour 250 milliliters of water. Filter the solution through a fine strainer to remove any large pulp or seeds. But don't throw away the leftover pulp. That nutrient-rich residue is full of natural sugars and minerals. It makes an excellent organic fertilizer for other plants in your garden. Just mix it into your soil or compost pile, and it'll help improve soil texture and feed the microbes that keep your plants thriving. After 20 minutes of soaking the charcoal, we'll go ahead and filter out the charcoal water. This step helps remove any large particles while keeping the beneficial minerals and natural, detoxifying properties of the charcoal in the liquid. Let's blend them together gently and get ready to apply this amazing tonic to our plant. Step 1. We're going to use the solution made from charcoal and watermelon to gently wipe the orchid leaves. When you first bring orchid home, it's often stressed due to the sudden change in environment. This can weaken the plant's immune system and disrupt its ability to absorb nutrients properly. Wiping the leaves with this natural solution not only removes dirt and harmful bacteria from the surface, but also delivers vital nutrients directly through the leaves, a key method for quick recovery. Charcoal contains minerals like potassium, calcium, and magnesium, and it has natural antibacterial properties that help cleanse the leaves and protect them from fungal or bacterial infections. Watermelon is rich in natural sugars, water, vitamin A, and vitamin C, which help restore shine to the leaves, boost photosynthesis, and keep the foliage hydrated. Wiping both the top and underside of the leaves like this helps in several important ways. The upper leaf surface is where most of the photosynthesis happens. By cleaning it, we remove dust, dirt, and any pests like red spider mites or aphids that block sunlight, allowing the plant to absorb light more efficiently. This means the orchid can produce more energy for growth and flowering. Next, we'll carefully pour the charcoal and watermelon solution into a container, preparing to soak the entire root system of the orchid. Because the roots have fresh, open wounds from trimming, this soaking step is really important. It allows the nutrients and minerals from the solution to penetrate deeply and evenly throughout the roots. This helps speed up the healing process, preventing infections and encouraging the roots to recover quickly. At the same time, the nutrients get absorbed efficiently, supporting the orchid's overall strength and vitality. This method not only nourishes the roots, but also boosts the plant's ability to grow healthy leaves and vibrant flowers in the future. Taking this extra step really makes a big difference in helping your orchid bounce back stronger after repotting. Soak it for 30 minutes. After about 30 minutes of soaking, once the orchid has fully absorbed the nutrient solution, we'll gently take the plant out and let it drain thoroughly. We're going to gently peel off the outer layer of the flower spike. This step helps stimulate the growth of new flower buds. We're going to use a small piece of cotton and gently press it onto the flower node, or eye, of the spike. This little trick helps stimulate that spot, encouraging the plant to wake up dormant buds and start developing a new flower spike or a baby plant, known as a keiki. The cotton helps retain just the right amount of moisture and warmth around the node conditions that are perfect for triggering growth. It's a simple, low-stress method that supports the plant's natural ability to reproduce and bloom again. Now, let's use cinnamon to help dry and disinfect the wound on our orchid. This might sound simple, but it's actually one of the most powerful natural remedies in plant care. Cinnamon has strong antibacterial and antifungal properties, which means it can help prevent infections from setting in, especially when the plant has open wounds after trimming damaged roots or leaves. By dusting a small amount of cinnamon powder directly onto the cut areas, we're creating a protective barrier. This helps stop bacteria and fungi from spreading, which is really important during the recovery period. Not only does it disinfect, but it also helps the tissue dry out and callus faster, which encourages new root growth. Cinnamon is completely organic, safe, and doesn't stress the plant. It's especially great for orchids, which can be quite sensitive to synthetic chemicals. So instead of using a chemical fungicide, we're going with something natural, and it works beautifully. This step may seem small, but it makes a big difference in the long-term health of your orchid. After applying cinnamon, make sure to let the plant sit in a dry place for a few hours or even overnight, so the wound can properly seal before we move on to the next step. Let the plant dry for 1 day. After 1 full day, once the plant has completely dried and the wounds have sealed, we're going to use a pot with plenty of holes like this one. These ventilation holes are really important. They allow for proper air circulation around the roots, which helps the plant breathe better and prevents water from getting trapped inside. Good drainage means the roots won't sit in water, reducing the risk of rot or fungal infections. Plus, it keeps pests like root-eating bugs and fungus gnats away. We're going to use pine bark to fill the pot for planting. Pine bark is one of the best growing mediums for orchids because it provides excellent drainage and airflow. It helps keep the roots from staying too wet, preventing root rot, and allows oxygen to circulate freely, which is essential for healthy root development. Pine bark also slowly breaks down over time, releasing beneficial organic matter that supports long-term plant health. When you pack the pot with pine bark, make sure it's snug enough to support the plant, but still loose enough to allow water and air to move through easily. This environment mimics how orchids grow in nature, clinging to trees with roots exposed to the air so your orchid can thrive, just like it would in the wild. Don't forget to cover the top with a layer of moss. This final step is important. It helps retain just the right amount of surface moisture, especially around the base of the plant where new roots often emerge. The moss acts like a natural humidity blanket, keeping the environment soft and moist without suffocating the roots. It also protects the roots from sudden temperature changes and prevents them from drying out too quickly. Just make sure the moss layer is thin and airy. Don't pack it down too tightly, or it might trap too much water and reduce airflow. So, with the leftover solution, the one we made using watermelon and charcoal, we're not gonna waste it. No, this stuff is gold for your other orchids too. The first thing I like to do is take a soft cloth or cotton pad, dip it gently into the mix, and then use it to clean the leaves of the orchid. Now, what's so special about this? Wow, watermelon is full of natural sugars, minerals like potassium and magnesium, and even a little bit of vitamin C that helps energize the plant, keep the leaves vibrant, and actually helps with recovery, especially if the plant's just been repotted or went through stress. And the charcoal? It's got natural antibacterial properties, helps detox the surface of the leaves, and boost plant immunity. It's like a natural tonic, honestly. When we wipe the top side of the leaves, gently like this, we're actually opening up those tiny pores, or what we call stomata. That helps the plant breathe better and makes photosynthesis more efficient. The sunlight hits, and boom, your orchid's converting that light into energy more easily. Now, for the underside of the leaves, don't skip this part. This is where pests like spider mites, red mites, or scale insects love to hide out. So by cleaning underneath, you're not only removing dust and buildup that can block airflow, but you're also making it way harder for those little buggers to latch on. Think of it like wiping off their hiding spots. Plus, the antibacterial nature of charcoal makes it a kind of natural pest repellent. Bugs just don't like it. Alright, now let's move on to step 2. What I love to do next is pour that same watermelon and charcoal mixture into a fine mist spray bottle, something that gives a nice, gentle fog, you know? This method is honestly a lifesaver for people who are busy but still want to keep their orchids blooming beautifully. The misting technique is super effective because it allows the plant to absorb nutrients directly through its leaves and aerial roots without soaking the entire plant or soil. It also helps to keep the surrounding air humid, which orchids absolutely love. You see, orchids, especially epiphytic ones like Phalaenopsis, actually come from tropical rainforests where the air is constantly moist. And because we've got watermelon in this solution, you're feeding your plant little bits of natural sugars, enzymes, and minerals like potassium and magnesium. That helps fuel the leaves and encourage strong root development. The charcoal in there helps prevent bacterial growth, so it's like giving your plant both a snack and a shield at the same time. Pretty cool, right? This is a great routine to do maybe once a week, especially if you're someone who doesn't always have time for deep plant care. Just a quick spritz in the morning or evening, and you're helping your orchids grow stronger, greener, and even more flower ready. But oh, quick tip! If your orchid has already started blooming or forming buds, you'll want to avoid misting directly on the flowers or buds. They're a little delicate, and too much moisture there can cause spots or even shorten the bloom time. Instead, focus on misting the leaves and roots and maybe the air around them. That's enough to keep everything nice and hydrated. And here's a little orchid fact for you. Did you know orchids actually breathe through their roots? Yeah, their roots aren't just for anchoring. They absorb moisture and air, especially if they're exposed. That's why keeping them slightly misted without waterlogging is so helpful. After 3 months, the leaves have become incredibly vibrant and healthy. You can see they're a deep, rich green full of life and vitality. The surface is smooth and glossy, reflecting light beautifully, which shows just how well nourished the plant is. The flower spike we wrapped with cotton has now started to sprout beautifully. You can see new growth pushing through, and the leaves around it are vibrant, fresh, and strong. They have a healthy green color and a firm texture, showing that the plant is thriving and well cared for. This early development is a great sign that the orchid is on its way to blooming fully and healthily. The roots look incredibly healthy and strong, which really tells us a lot about the overall condition of the orchid. You can see that they have a firm, plump texture, not dry or shriveled, which means they're actively growing and functioning well. The color is a nice greenish white, showing that they're getting enough oxygen and moisture, and the plant is absorbing nutrients effectively. There are absolutely no signs of damage, such as softness, browning, or mushy spots, which can be common signs of root rot or fungal infections. These healthy roots also suggest that the care routine is really working, providing the right balance of moisture, aeration, and nutrients. Strong roots like this help the orchid stay anchored securely in its growing medium, and they're vital for producing strong leaves, healthy flowers, and overall vigorous growth. And that's it for today's orchid care update. Thanks so much for watching and joining me on this journey to healthier, stronger plants. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a tip. Drop a comment below to share your own orchid stories or questions. I love hearing from you.